Hello everyone, I am Barrister Mohammad Fariduddin and welcome. In this video clip, I would like to discuss about the basic features of the Constitution of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Every constitution builds governmental structures based upon certain principles. And in our constitution, some of those principles are popular sovereignty and democracy, nationalism, socialism, secularism, fundamental rights, fundamental principles of the state policy, judicial independence, and the cabinet form of government. I will discuss each of them. First, popular sovereignty and democracy. The preamble and Article 7 of the Constitution proclaims the sovereignty of the people. Article 122 declares that the elections to Parliament shall be on the basis of adult suffrage. As a result, the government derives their authority from the people who choose their representatives for the Parliament at regular intervals of 5 years. This is the principle of popular sovereignty. In fact, the voter ensures the democratic ideal of one man, one vote, one value, irrespective of his wealth, education, social status, and importance. Article 11 of the Constitution states that the effective participation by the people through their elected representatives in administration at all levels shall be ensured. Now, nationalism. The preamble and Article 9 of the Constitution states nationalism to be a fundamental principle. The identity of Bengali nation is derived from its language and culture. Socialism. Increasing intervention and participation of the state in the economic field, known as welfare state, has been a distinguishing feature of the 20th century. There is hardly any country today in which the state is not actively engaged in a variety of economic activities. The idea is that the state should provide for basic necessities of its people rather than leaving the people to private enterprises. The state shall aim to free the society from the exploitation of man by man. In varying degrees, governments everywhere are involved in economic, industrial, and commercial management. This is broadly described as the influence of socialist ideas on the state activity. Now, secularism. The Constitution aims to establish a secular state. A secular state means, in essence, that the state will not make any discrimination whatsoever on the ground of religion or community against any person professing any particular form of religious faith. The state will not accord any preferential treatment to any citizen or discriminate against him simply on the ground that he professes a particular form of religion. Article 28 of the Constitution prohibits discrimination on the grounds of, amongst others, religion. Now, the fundamental rights. The Constitution affirms the basic principle that every individual is entitled to enjoy certain rights as a human being, and the enjoyment of such rights does not depend upon the will of any majority and minority. This is sufficient that he is a human being, and he must have rights on the basis of that fact alone. No majority has the right to abrogate such rights. In fact, the legitimacy of the majority to rule is derived from the existence of these rights. These rights include all the basic liberties such as freedom of speech, movement, and association. Equality before law and equal protection of laws, freedom of religious belief and culture, and educational freedoms are some examples of fundamental rights. Fundamental principles and fundamental rights are different things. Fundamental rights are protected under Part 3 of the Constitution. Now, what are fundamental policies? These are assurances to the people as to what they can expect from the state. These are mentioned in Part 2 of the Constitution. And this shall be a guide to the interpretation of the laws and shall form the basis of state work, but cannot be judicially enforced. It brings us to the discussion of judicial independence. The judicial function is indeed a delicate and difficult one. It involves the process of deciding what is just in a controversy between two or more contending parties. If the parties have no confidence in the impartiality of the judiciary, justice becomes an empty word. People's long struggle has been to live under a government of laws, not of men. Equal justice under law has for long been a cherished ideal, a system under which the same law is applicable to all alike. In fact, the judicial process ceases to be judicial the moment the judge ceases to be independent of external influence and free from internal prejudices. Hence, the importance of judicial independence. Article 22 of the Constitution of the People's Republic of Bangladesh states that the state shall ensure the separation of the judiciary from the executive organs of the state. This is to ensure the independence of judiciary from the executive influence. Now, cabinet government. Part 4, Chapter 2 of the Constitution deals with the executive, the Prime Minister, and the cabinet. Bangladesh has a cabinet form of government. The most distinctive characteristic of a cabinet system of government is the complete and continuous responsibility of the executive to the legislature. The cabinet is composed of the Prime Minister, who is the chief of the executive, and his or her senior colleagues who share the responsibility with him or her for the formulation and execution of the policies of the government.